I would now like to show you how to make a firm ganache. Place your chocolate into a stainless steel bowl on top of a water bath. You always want to melt chocolate on top of a water bath so that it is not over direct heat. Chocolate that goes over 120 degrees is actually considered burned, since it brings out some unpleasant and bitter aftertaste. Ganache is one of the staples in the pastry shop. Ganache is used for filling truffles, making rolled truffles, glazing cakes, as a filling for cakes, and even as a filling for tarts and pies. Chocolates that are not so high in cocoa butter work very well for ganache. They'll simply be somewhat thicker. A high-quality chocolate determines how good your final product is going to be, since you only have a couple of ingredients. When your chocolate is over your hot water, be sure that your water is not boiling and there is not steam pouring up around the sides of the bowl. Worst enemy for chocolate is water. Just a couple of drops will make it seize into a tight mass, and you won't be able to stir in the rest of your ingredients. When chocolate's melting, you want to stir it occasionally so that the stuff that is melted on the bottom comes up and the pieces that are not melted on the top get down where the heat is. Gently stir it. You don't want to whip air into it. Air in chocolate will make it thicker. It also will leave you bubbles in your final ganache product. Ganache should be smooth and shiny. For ganache, it's not necessary to melt your chocolate all the way because we're going to add a hot product on top of that. Remove your chocolate carefully from the steam so that you do not burn your hands. For our next step, we're going to place our heavy cream into our pot. Along with a little bit of corn syrup or glucose. The corn syrup or glucose is an optional item. It does, however, help prevent any sort of crystallization, and it makes for a shiny, smooth, elastic product. Don't allow your cream to sit there and boil too much. You could burn the bottom of it, or you could boil off so much water that your cream will reduce and you will end up with a very thick, tight ganache. The texture of the final ganache is determined by how much chocolate is in the mixture versus how much cream. A very firm ganache is going to be 1 part chocolate to 1 part cream. A loose ganache could be 2 or even slightly more parts cream to chocolate. Firm ganache is used as a filling for cakes. It can also be scooped and rolled and tossed in cocoa powder or powdered sugar or nuts or sprinkles or anything that you can come up with to make a nice truffle for the end of the meal. As soon as your cream comes to a boil, pour all of it on top of your chocolate. Allow it to sit for just a moment so that the chocolate has a chance to continue to melt. Once your cream is in your chocolate, go ahead and start stirring. And you want to stir from the middle to create an emulsion. Chocolate ganache is an emulsion of fat and water. We have not only the fat in the heavy cream and the fat in the chocolate, but we also have the water in the heavy cream that wouldn't normally mix together. By carefully putting this together, we are able to create a product that maintains its emulsion. As the cream begins to mix in, make small circles in the center. When you're stirring ganache, you want to be very careful not to use a whip and not to incorporate air. Air bubbles are very difficult to get out of your product once they're in there. And if you're glazing a cake, those air bubbles will mar the surface. As the mixture begins to emulsify, it starts to turn shiny. Gradually widen your circle, including more and more of the cream to the side. A good ganache should be smooth and shiny and have no graininess. Scrape the side of your bowl and make sure that everything is completely combined. Be sure to remember to get the bottoms and the corners as well. Firm ganaches are either poured into a mold and then chilled and refrigerated until they are hard and used as center of a dessert or for a cake. Or chocolate that is going to be used for truffles is chilled and scooped, then rolled and dusted in some sort of a garnish. A couple of handmade chocolates after dinner are a wonderful treat and dead easy to make. I'm going to show you a very simple chocolate truffle made with firm ganache. Make your firm ganache and refrigerate it until set. Using a Parisian scoop or using a scoop, portion out small pieces of your firm ganache. Be sure to scoop them all before you get your hands dirty. Then, using gloved hands, because this is a ready-to-eat product, quickly roll them into a ball, making sure not to hold them for too long and melting the ganache too much. You want to be very sure not to handle the ganache for too long, or else it will melt and you will leave more of it on your gloves than you will in the truffle. Cupping your hands when you roll helps keep the truffles round. Be sure to remove your soiled gloves before handling your product again. Truffles can be rolled in a multitude of items. They can be rolled in cocoa powder, powdered sugar, nuts, sprinkles, or anything else that would be a nice complement to your chocolate. Place your truffles into whatever garnish you choose to use. Roll it around. You want to chill these until they're firm before serving. You also want to store them in the refrigerator since they do contain heavy cream.